Hello dear viewers, I Trishna Sharma, PGT Biology of SPOA Public School, welcome you all to my new YouTube channel Biobasics. In today's class, we will learn about a very important topic of molecular biology, that is DNA replication, from the chapter of Molecular Basis of Inheritance of Class 12 NCERT syllabus. In this video, we will learn about the characteristics of replication, the enzymes involved in the process, and the actual process of DNA replication, and the significance of replication. So let's start with the introduction of DNA replication. The word replication means formation of a replica or an exact copy or a Xerox copy. In the process of DNA replication, an exact copy of an already existing DNA molecule is formed. The newly formed DNA molecule has each and every base pair similar to the parent DNA molecule. Actually, the parent DNA molecule provides the template strands on which complementary new strands are designed. We refer the old DNA molecule as parent DNA and the newly formed DNA as daughter DNA. It is seen now that the daughter DNA molecule is actually made up of one old parental strand and a newly synthesized strand. It is found in all living organisms irrespective of its cell complexity and structure. When we talk about the types of DNA replication, it is actually not the types, these are the modes of replication. DNA replication is seen to occur or is thought to be occur in three different ways: semi-conservative DNA replication, conservative DNA replication, and dispersive DNA replication. In semi-conservative replication, the two strands of the parent DNA work as templates, and after replication, one parental strand combines with one newly formed strand and a daughter DNA molecule is produced. In conservative replication, after producing the two new daughter DNA strands, the two parental strands combines back, form the old DNA molecule, and the two new strands combine together to form a completely new daughter DNA molecule. In the dispersive model of DNA replication, the original DNA chain breaks and recombines in a random fashion after getting copied. Each individual strand is a patchwork of original and new strand. Out of this, the most acceptable model is semi-conservative model, as it was experimentally proved by different scientists. Let us see the characteristics of DNA replication. Number 1, DNA replication is semi-conservative in nature, as we already said, one parental strand with one daughter strand. DNA replication is bidirectional, means from a single point it occurs in two directions. DNA replication is semi-discontinuous, which means one strand is continuously synthesized, whereas the other strand is synthesized discontinuously. Together, we call it as semi-discontinuous process. DNA replication shows high fidelity. It means the enzymes involved in the process of DNA proofreading and repair removes almost all the errors that can take place during the process, making it almost error-free. Next, both the strands act as template In DNA replication, both the parental strand provide the template on which the complementary nucleotides are brought and added by the enzymes to form the new strands. So these are the characteristics of DNA replication. Here we will study about the semi-conservative DNA replication in details. It is the most accepted model of DNA replication. Both the strands of DNA act as template, and based on its information, the complementary new strands are synthesized. After that, the newly formed strand combines with one parental strand. It was first proposed by Watson and Crick in 1953. Michelson and Stahl in 1958 experimentally proved the semi-conservative nature of DNA replication. In the same year, Tyler and his colleagues also performed some experiments on Vicia faba to prove the same process. So here you can see the Michelson and Stahl experiment, which I will explain later. These are the slides showing the experiments by Michelson and Stahl. In the experiments of Michelson and Stahl, here we can see in 1958 they have performed a replications experiment on E. coli and tried to prove the semi-conservative DNA replication model. They grew E. coli in a medium containing ammonium chloride with a heavy isotope of nitrogen containing 15N. The normal nitrogen contains 14N, which is light, which is considered to be light. The DNA strands can be separated by density gradient centrifugation using cesium chloride. Once the cells containing this DNA are grown in this ammonium chloride solution containing heavy nitrogen, this heavy nitrogen got incorporated into newly synthesized DNA of those particular cells. Now the cells are brought out and allowed to grow in a normal medium containing normal nitrogen, that is 14N. As we know, the bacteria reproduce after every 20 minutes. We can get new generations after every 20 minutes. So, after time interval, we started taking out the samples and start watching their DNA condition. After the first 20 minutes, it was seen that all the cells have hybrid DNA. Hybrid DNA means one heavy strand and one light strand. One strand stained with heavy nitrogen, another strand with light or normal nitrogen. Again, after next 20 minutes, 50% of the cells have hybrid DNA, whereas the other 50% have light DNA. After 60 minutes, 25% cells contain hybrid DNA and the rest 75% light DNA. So they concluded that while replication, the heavy DNA acts as template to form a light DNA as the new strand, so it combines to form the hybrid DNA, and the light DNA definitely it will produce another light DNA, so it will combine and form a light molecule or normal molecule of DNA. So we can say that every generation one strand of DNA molecule is newly formed, whereas the other strand is parental strand. let's go to the second characteristics of DNA replication, that is bidirectional replication. Both prokaryotes and eukaryotes, the replication starts from a single point that is called as ori or origin of replication. At this point, the enzyme starts separating the two strands and create a replication fork, that is a Y-shaped structure, and then on both the directions replication proceeds, as we can see in the picture. But in bacterial plasmids, unidirectional replication is seen, where from origin replication proceeds only in a single direction. So this is the replication fork. It is formed when the two strands separates at origin, then opens up, creating a Y-shaped structure. The separated strand acts as template, and the opening of the fork, it continues. The replication is said to be semi-discontinuous. As we have seen in the earlier slide, there are two strands of opposite polarity, 3', 5' and 5', 3'. The 3', 5' strand act as a leading strand, whereas the 5', 3' strand act as lagging strand. Both the strands act as template. The 3', 5' strand, which is the leading strand, during synthesis, the enzyme keeps on adding the nucleotides continuously one after another. When new area of the fork gets exposed, more nucleotides are added to it. It forms a long continuous strand. So, replication occurs continuously here. But in the 5', 3' strand, that is called as a lagging strand, DNA synthesis here is discontinuous. Many short stretches of polynucleotides are formed. They are later joined to form a complete DNA strand. These small fragments are known as Okazaki fragments. The reason behind this is the nucleotides can be added by this enzyme only in 5', 3' direction, to the 3' end only, to the free end. So due to this, one strand becomes continuous, whereas the other strand becomes discontinuous, and together we call this process as semi-discontinuous DNA replication. So here we are seeing the leading and the lagging strands. The discontinuous strand has short fragments. These are known as Okazaki fragments. Whereas the leading strand is continuously synthesized in the direction of 5', 3'. The lagging strand is also synthesized in the direction, it has to be synthesized in the direction of 5', 3', but not as a continuous manner, in small fragments. Now, the enzymes and proteins that are involved in replication. Number one is the DNA-dependent DNA polymerase. It polymerizes the nucleotides to make a polynucleotide chain by forming phosphodiester bonds. It first reads the template and then accordingly bring the complementary bases and add to the 3' end. One disadvantage of this enzyme is that it cannot add nucleotide from zero, from beginning. It always needs an existing 3' end to join the nucleotides, so it actually cannot start the process. The next enzyme is DNA helicase that unwind the DNA double helix and make the single strands available as template. Next is primase. It is the enzyme that forms the RNA primer at the starting point of the template so that polymerase can add nucleotides to its 3' end. Next is ligase, which acts as a glue to join the fragments of DNA, to join the Okazaki fragments and make a complete strand. Next is DNA gyrase or topoisomerase that relieves the tension in the DNA when helicase unwind it. The torsional strain in DNA is reduced by DNA gyrase. Next we get the single-stranded binding proteins. These are the proteins actually. What they do, they bind to the uncoiled single strands of DNA and stabilize them so that they can remain in the single-stranded condition without coiling back. Okay, so here we can see the enzymes doing their work. Okay, here the enzymes are doing their work. DNA helicase is opening up, topoisomerase is reducing the tension, DNA polymerase is adding the nucleotides, ligase is joining the fragments, single-stranded binding proteins are stabilizing the single-strand templates. Types of DNA polymerase. The enzyme DNA polymerase is again of different types with different functions. Even in case of prokaryotes and eukaryotes also, these enzymes are completely different. In prokaryotes, the enzyme is of three types. DNA polymerase 1 that erases primer and fills in the gap of the lagging strand. Polymerase 2 performs DNA repair. DNA polymerase 3, a primary activity of DNA synthesis. In eukaryotes, there are many types of enzymes. The 5 main types are DNA polymerase alpha performs primer synthesis and DNA repair. Polymerase beta performing DNA repair. DNA polymerase gamma performing mitochondrial DNA replication. DNA polymerase lambda performing lagging strand synthesis and repair, and DNA polymerase epsilon that performs leading strand synthesis and gap filling on lagging strand. So these are the enzymes performing various functions, ultimately leading to the polymerization of nucleotides. The steps of DNA replication. DNA replication occurs in three main steps. Number 1 is initiation, where the unwinding of the helix takes place, and at the point of origin of replication, the primers are added so that the process of replication can start. Number 2 is elongation, where addition of nucleotides takes place one by one, and after that they will be joined. It will be different in the leading strand and lagging strand, but accordingly the two strands will be formed, maybe in different ways, but simultaneously both the strands are formed. And the third step is termination, where the addition of nucleotides will be stopped and rewinding of the parental and the daughter strand, one parental strand to one daughter strand, will take place. Now we will go one by one through all these steps. First one is initiation. DNA helicase binds near the origin of replication and start unwinding the two strands. The single-stranded binding proteins will come immediately and bind to the unwound portion of the DNA and stabilize them in their single-stranded condition. Then the DNA gyrase will come. The enzyme DNA gyrase will start reducing the torsion that is formed over the coiled part of the DNA. The uncoiled DNA strands, it will result in formation of the replication fork that is Y-shaped in structure. Then the DNA polymerase can start the work, but the problem is it cannot add the nucleotides in an empty place. So the enzyme primase will come, which will produce an RNA primer which is about 10 to 16 nucleotides long. To the 3' end of the template strand, a primer will be added. The direction of primer, orientation or polarity of primer is 5' to 3'. Now this 3' end is empty. We will go to the next step, that is elongation. Here you can see this processes. The leading strand, a primer is added to the 3' end. Then the nucleotides are joined. Here also you can see. We will go to the next part, that is elongation. In elongation, both leading strand and lagging strand, they go separately in a different fashion. In leading strand, the direction of the template is already 3', 5', and the primer is added to the 3' end. Direction of the primer is 5', 3', so the 3' end of the primer is free. The nucleotides will be added by the enzyme DNA polymerase to the 3' end of the primer. A continuous strand will be produced by addition of the nucleotides in a continuous manner. With the continuous function of DNA helicase, more and more portions will be exposed in the replication fork. So replication fork will become extended, enlarged. So with more unwinding of the portion, more of the leading template strand will be free, and the process of elongation will continue by addition of the nucleotides. In the lagging strand, the direction of the template is 5', 3'. DNA polymerase, as already said, cannot add the nucleotide to the 5' end. So the primer is not added to the 5' end of the template. Instead, the primer is added to the 3' end, that is the bifurcating point of the fork, and the nucleotides are then added to the 3' free 3' end of the primer, forming a short stretch of polynucleotide chain. With further opening of the replication fork, another primer is added and another stretch of polynucleotide chain is formed. Many small stretches of such DNA fragments are formed, and those are named as Okazaki fragments after the name of the scientist Okazaki. Synthesis of this strand is called as discontinuous. Then the enzyme DNA ligase will come and joins the Okazaki fragments and also remove the primers. A complete DNA strand is given rise. Now, each of the newly formed strands start coiling with the parental template strand from the completed end. The primers will be removed by combined action of two enzymes, RNase H and polymerase. Then the process starts to get over. Once the whole DNA is replicated, the plus primer is removed. The newly formed strands coils completely with their template strands. The two daughter DNA molecules are formed. So, the process of replication gets over. And the process of DNA replication. Thank you.